Hey there YouTube, AJ here, and we're back on this gas tank. We got it roughed in where it fits okay, and now we're going to start focusing on the brackets so we can actually get this thing affixed to the car. So let's get to it. Well, as you can see, all my bracketry just kind of fell out. Probably should get this thing in there. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Can I fit this without moving to the front? I think we got a plan here. I think what we're going to try to do is leave this, because this bottom part's solid. And there's a bracket here. We got cut out some of this rotten metal. But there's a bracket here we can rest it on, and we can weld this straight to the back of this edge. And that way all this will stay in line. You gotta cut some of this crap out, cut this out. And once that's done, yeah, we can tack this in, get it in place. All right, let's do that first. Let's start cutting out some of this crap. Okay, well, we got our rear body support in there the way I was envisioning. You can see up under here, we left this support in so we can tack in, weld it up in here. And this edge here is a little wonky. We'll straighten that out once we get it tacked in place, because right now every time I try to straighten it, move it, something else gets out of whack. And this is the only place. So we'll fix this at the end after we get everything pretty much held in place, but it doesn't look too bad, I don't think. And then in here you can see this is our original piece. It's still good and strong, and we're basically, this edge comes down over it, so we'll be able to weld in here as well. So this will be nice and strong down here, and we never lost our original width because we never took this place out. So that's one good thing, is that none of this area is going to get out of square, because that was never completely taken out. And when I say out of square, that's all relative, because, you know, this car was not square at all. Let's start fitting and cutting our brackets to hold this thing. I rough cut these up. These are a little more than rough cut. This end's fit to go in up here. They're cut a little long. I got a feeling this is going to be a royal pain by myself. Let's see, let's get a clamp, see if we can clamp this thing. Okay, it's close at least. Probably going to want another one of those for the other side. Okay, tweaking. That's pretty good. This one's got to go the other way, of course. Now, Catching right there, just a little bit. Okay, so we've got our bracket here and clamped, and that's going to hold the sides. Now down here we got to come into this area and bring something down to support it as far back as possible. And so what I'm thinking is I might have to weld a plate in here, right around in this area, and then run this up in there. It's pretty darn level, which means this flange isn't very straight. The back needs to go down just about a ½ inch. Alright, I got to make new pieces for this, because I think what we want to do is mount all the way down to this piece. And if that's the case, this one would need to be 7.5. These are what? That's 7.5. Maybe? Okay, let's see about this one. 7.5, not quite. Alright, so I think instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to notch these to go around this bracket. Where's my marker? Driver. Alright, so this goes up in there like so. And what I'm thinking, if I can get this cut right, I can weld straight to this piece here and across here. So if we X out this little corner here, I'm thinking that'll fit in there. So let's just try that before we do that side. Alright, well, we're pretty darn close to level. Yep, both front and back, side to side, we're pretty close to level. My upright's level there. Pretty level there. Could come up just a little bit, or top could come out a little bit, but not bad. I think at this point, we're ready to start tacking this stuff together. The one thing that bothers me is how tight we are to the tank on the frame. I think I need to move that out just a little bit. Camera's battery died again while I was working on this, but I went ahead and trimmed these all to fit and got them ready to go. Ready to tack them in now. I also took it as a sign to get more coffee and a snack. Other things happening in my life right now, we just got a pair of kittens, and they're both rescues. They look like brother and sister, but they're not. They're about a week apart in age. But got the older one, she was 6 weeks when we got her, and her name is Luna Alexa. And the younger one was 5 weeks when we got him, and he was actually found up in somebody's wheel well at an AutoZone. His name is Vincent Gray Flash. And guess which one I named? If you don't know, Vincent Gray Flash is a British motorcycle. So that's been taking up a lot of our lives. Yeah, I guess let's start tacking this stuff together, see how it's going to fit. I'm not even cleaning up anything. I'm just going to tack it in, and then when I go to weld it in permanent, I'll clean everything and so I can get better welds. But for now, I'm hoping just to get it all tacked where everything holds together. Okay, well, it's welded in there. It's, you know, it's not completely welded yet. We gotta weld the bottom of this in, otherwise that's gonna rattle. And the edges, I've only got it welded in a couple of places, so this needs to be completely welded in. All of these joints need to be finished, but for now they're tacked together pretty solid. And we're gonna see if the tank fits now. All right, let's try it. Fits pretty darn good. And you know, I will put some kind of something in between the edge of this and the metal, so it'll, you know, have a rub. Won't be steel on steel rubbing. But yeah. So back you off. This is what it looks like. Got that glare. There we go. It's looks pretty good, I think. It seems to be level. Let's pretty darn level side to side. That's good. Front needs to go just a little bit for it to be level, but you know, it'll do for now. Like I said, we got to put something in here for it to rub against. We got to mark our holes. Ooh, this one's clear at the end. I did notice this hole over here is directly on the edge of this spacer, so we're gonna have to drill it. So we're gonna probably drill one here, put a couple extras in the sides for this thing. But yeah, over here, we gotta do something here to support this front edge because it's completely unsupported. So what we're gonna do now is mark these holes where they're gonna be, and I'll show you how I'm gonna support this front edge other than on the corners here. Alright, so for our side tank holes, they're pretty easy to mark. We've got clean metal underneath them, and yeah, just using a Sharpie will mark that. It's pretty good. Like I said, we're gonna have to add and relocate a couple of these, so just gonna throw them in here for now, just so I have them. Now these front edges, I'm not marking these to drill yet because they're in the flange below this, and that there's like an inch gap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a mark where I need to make a bracket. Alright, now let's get the tank out of the way. What we need here now is we're going to take the end of this and we're going to make up some little pieces to weld in where each of those holes are marked. And these need to be what? About 7/8 of an inch long. So they're not very big. And we're going to cut them at an inch and angle them to fit a little better. Alright. So let's go cut 3 1-inch pieces out of this. And to do this, I'm going to use my new toy. I got tired of cutting everything by cutoff wheel. And I got a project coming up where I'm going to be needing to cut a bunch of 2-inch square steel. And I really didn't want to do that all with the cutoff wheel. And I wanted to make sure it was square when I cut it. So I broke down and I bought me an Evolution cold cut saw. And I've only used it a little bit so far, but so far I really like this thing. Alright, here we go. Guess I should have cut that one this way. Alright, let's go get that piece of flue. Let's line this up. So it's a little harder to cut, you know, pre-bent sheet metal, but I'll straighten these back out. They'll be fine, and clean them up, and we'll make these. I'll meet you around back at the car. If these fit the way I want them to, yeah. See, that one's a little tall. I got to cut that one down. Go take about 1/8 off of these, and I'll be right back. All right, see how these fit now. There we go, much better. All right, let's see if they line back up with the holes in the tank. All right, well, let's tack those into place so we don't lose them. All right, so now if we slide this in, there we go. That's where these will get mounted. Now, get the tank centered between the lines. All right, now we'll take our transfer punch once again. Hopefully we have some marks to drill some holes. Alright, let's see about drilling some pilot holes. Now, because I don't want to be trying to get up in here and start nuts under here, we're going to put nutserts in all of these. Alright, now we should have a way to start bolting this thing in. Providing I have some 5/16 bolts. Alright, these probably aren't going to be the permanent bolts, but let's just bolt it in for now. Okay, now we need to mark and drill our holes for the side mounts. Okay, so I decided to go use this hole. That's going to be the only one of the original holes I'm going to use. And then I'm going to go start out here 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. Same on the other side. 3 bolts per side. Let's drill some holes. Well, apparently I am out of 5/16 bolts. I'm going to start one in here just for fun. It's too long, obviously. So I'll have to get some more 5/16 bolts for this. But it's mounted. I'm pretty pleased with it, actually. Yeah, I think once these are all bolted down there, it'll be nice and secure. And eventually I'll be making a cover pan for this. And then down in this area, I will be sealing this off, so, you know, to separate it from the outside and the inside of the car. Back here, yeah, everything looks good, fits good. Of course, we got to do all the final welding, grinding, finish, and painting and all that. And I'm not gonna, probably won't record all that stuff, but, or maybe it'll be time-lapse somewhere in a video, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, let's grab the rumble seat panel and see what we're looking like there. Now this is still just a little bit wide, and that's on purpose because I need to put some curve in it, and that's going to shorten up my distance outside to outside. And I also have just a little bit of steel here I need to cut away on the outside of this. But for now, let's kind of... Now it's not going to stick out that far. I can curve this edge right here to make it a tighter curve. That's going to be probably what I'm going to do. So I think what I need to do is go ahead and cut off of some of the edge off of this one. Yeah, at least this flange. So So what we're going to do now is try to put just a little bit of curve in this to help it fit in there. And to do that, we're going to come over to our shrinker. We're going to go deep because it doesn't shrink as much if you go deep. And I don't think I need a lot, so right now I'm just going on every one of the ribs. I don't know if I put anything in it or not, but we'll see. I'm going to go nip the edges of this off real quick, kind of angle it in. Not much, maybe like a 1/4 inch to 1/8 from this point over here. Alright, need a little more curve in it. We're getting there, starting to get the idea. So if we put it in like that, curve this a little more so it's more straight up and down. Let's go another round on the shrinker stretcher, about halfway. We're getting close. Need to narrow down the outside edge just a little bit more. And just a little more shrink and stretch in it. It's further out than I want it, but hopefully we can get a lot of curve back in this to pull it in. We'll see. Okay, well, got a problem. I had this worked out to where it was pretty much matched up, curving this way. And when I went to try to curve this down more, you can see it actually curved the whole thing that way. And I got big gaps over on the corners now. So I got to figure that out. I think what I'm going to have to do is go back and just work this edge and get it back in there again. And then over here on the edges, I'm gonna have to put relief cuts in here so I can bend this down the way I want it. I don't like it sticks too far out right now. I really need to get this in a lot closer to make me happy. I don't like the way it is right now. It sticks way too far out. I mean, I would put a panel in here to seal this off, but I don't like how far out this is sticking. Apparently it didn't either, and it committed suicide. So we got to do something different. But for today, in this video, I'm going to call it good. We got our tank mounted. It's in there. I like where it's at. I actually have more room than I thought I was going to have. I could have used a little bit deeper tank, which would have been nice, but oh well. It's what we have, what we're going to work with from now on. I will start working this panel again. See if I can't get it back the way it was at least. And like I said, probably have to put some relief cuts in this to get this to bend down more the way I want it, because I want it to bend a lot sharper in. I don't know. I'm doubting myself now on how I'm doing this, so I'm not sure now. Thought I had it all figured out. This lip sticks out further than I thought. For one, it's causing me problems. We interrupt this outro to bring you an update from tomorrow me. So I came out this morning with just plans of getting my Jeep back in the garage, cleaning up everything and getting everything squared away here for the week. But all last night, this stupid panel on the back was eating in the back of my mind, so I had to work on it some. So I got on the shrinker stretcher again. I got my panel fitting again across the top. It looks good there. I'm not in love with it yet. but I also don't hate it yet. From the back, I don't mind the way it looks. It's the side profile that I'm not sure about. It sticks out too far for me. And if you look up here, you can see, you know, the tank pretty much ends there. There's a flange on it, so it goes up and then there's a flange. So from here, from this point back, I'm fixed. I can't do anything. So what I really want to do is get this to bend more downward and have a more flat look, and then we can tie it into the fender here with a panel. But when I try to shrink this flange that's riveted on, not riveted, that's spot welded on here, it screws up my curve up here and it doesn't fit. So I've got this now all clecoed in, and that's fitting pretty well right there. So I'm really liking the way this looks up here, and I like this. Now, one other thing I did this week, if I can find it. So I did this earlier this week. I prototyped a louver. I'm not going to tell you how I did this yet, but it's not perfect yet, but it doesn't look too bad. And if we lay that up here, you can kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at, you know, putting a row of louvers on each one of these panels here. After doing all this morning, and I'm done for the day, for real, I've decided I'm going to drill out these spot welds and take this flange off on both sides and try to see how I can manually work this down around to make it look more the part I want it to look. Hopefully I can make it look a lot better. Like I said, I don't love it yet. I don't hate it yet either. I'm not there yet though. I just haven't made my decision point how if I'm going to go with it or not. But as of right now, I'm liking it a lot better than I did yesterday when I was finishing, which I return you to that outro now. What if I can't go higher? Yeah, it's getting a little crazy there, and it's not long enough for what I want. I don't hate that. I don't know. I'm going to do some rethinking on this one. I am going to continue with this process though. I've come too far. Obviously I got to weld up the tank. I didn't get to making a panel for the front of this thing yet. That's just gonna have to wait. I got to get cleaned up for the day, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to work tomorrow or not. I haven't seen the weather, so we're going to call it here because I'm sure this video is getting long. Thank you for watching. Appreciate all the comments that you guys leave. I don't know what to say about this one. I mean, it's kind of a win, but it's kind of a setback too, so I don't know. Anyway, next time, I don't know if I'm going to be working on this tank the next time. I might need to take a little step back of it and think for a while, so I might do some other project. And but whatever I end up doing, thanks for watching, and until then, YouTube, later.